Hello. So the first thing that I noticed about this play was its non-traditional way of setting up a narrative. In my opinion, it's more like a documentary than a play, and that just really helps to outline the realism of the events. The most prominent values that I saw were sexuality and religion. Basically, a young gay man was murdered, and yet the people were still condoning him for being gay, and it shows just how impactful that ignorance can be, because I mean it got a young man killed and yet he was still condemned for the way that he or for his sexuality. And I think that it was that firmness and intolerance that got him killed. One thing I looked up was the population of Laramie with it in 1999 versus the number of students that attended the university. There were something like 25,000 residents at Laramie and almost 10,000 students enrolled, which really shows the impact of the university on the town, considering that the campus itself contains almost half the population in some regards. I think that Laramie was initially painted as a quaint and an innocent town where no wrongdoing could ever occur. They were just an innocent railroad town and innocent farmers and stuff like that. And they depicted themselves as tolerant, but they weren't accepting. So they tolerated Matthew being gay and the gay residents. However, they weren't they didn't believe that it was all right. They just allowed for it to happen, and they didn't agree with Matthew's sexuality, and in their eyes it wasn't their opinion until it was. And they want to show that I think that this play is important because it shows that intolerance can happen anywhere, even in a small town, quaint, homey environment. It can still happen in a tight knit neighborhood and community, and I think that that includes Columbus. I don't think that it's impossible for that to happen in an area such as Columbus. I think it's all based on predetermined prejudices. Uh, Three differences from the last play we read and this one was the interview style, the sheer number of characters, and the historical accuracy. Because it was set up like interviews, and there were so many interviews that took place, it really painted an accurate um, portrayal of what was going on. And not only did it paint an accurate portrayal, it was a real topic, so it brought that realism home by having interviews from real people that were presented from primary sources. Um, and so it just really brings it closer to home, in my opinion. And my two questions are, for being such an important case, why is it not taught more? This was my first example of hearing about it. And my other question is, how has the recent political climate changed whether this could happen again? I know that there's been a lot of polarization within our society recently, and I'm just curious how that might impact it.